Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss about the sustainability, basically the introduction to sustainability, concepts of sustainability and the need for the sustainability. We have a Brundtland report to the Paris Agreement, which is a complete framework of understanding of the sustainability and sustainable development. Introduction to Sustainability defines the basic concepts of sustainability, why sustainability matters, and the principle behind the sustainability. What is sustainability? It is a Latin word which means to hold or support. The capacity to maintain a process, system, or activity over a time without depleting the resources or causing any irreversible harm to the resources. In simple terms, meeting our needs today, that is the day to day needs, without compromising the nature or the future generations' ability to meet their own needs. Sustainability is fundamentally about the balance between what we use now and what remains for later. The Brundtland report, which was titled as Our Common Future, was released in 1987 by WCED, World Commission on Environment and Development, in which the definition of sustainable development was accepted as the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. We have the needs as the essential need of the world's poor, to which overriding priority should be given, and limitations. The technology and social organizations impose limits on environment's ability to meet needs. Why sustainability matters? A set of interconnected global trends has turned sustainability from an ideal into an urgent priority. As the population, which is the global population, is 8 billion plus, which places a high pressure on finite resources. This range from resource pressure and environmental decline to the social inequality and economic risk. The following slides will walk through on population, environment, climate, resources, equity and economic stability. First one is the population growth and resource pressure, followed by environmental degradation. In population growth and resource pressure, as the world's population has crossed 8 billion plus, there is an enormous pressure on finite resources such as fresh water, farmable lands, forest and fossil fuels. The demand for resources is increasing faster than the nature can replace those resources. In environmental degradation, industrialization, deforestation and urbanization erodes the natural systems. Unsustainable farming practices accelerates the loss in biodiversity and soil degradation. Air and water pollution, along with the depletion of the ozone layer, contributes to the damage of the environment. Climate change and resource depletion. In climate change, rising the global temperatures, therefore the melting of glaciers takes place. Sea level rise and more frequent extreme weather events happens. A direct consequence of greenhouse gas emission is mainly from burning of fossil fuels. And in resource depletion, coal, petroleum and natural gases are non-renewable and finite. Consumption is far outpacing the rate of natural regeneration. Therefore, the demand cannot be met out with the regeneration of the sources. Long-term energy scarcity is increasingly at a risk. Social inequality and intergenerational equity. In social inequality, unsustainable development often widens the gap between the rich and poor. Inequality appears both within and also between the nations. As a result of this, there will be a social unrest and uneven access to the basic services. In intergenerational equity, a moral obligation exists to protect future generations' interest. Present consumption should not deprive the future of resources. Environmental quality must be preserved for those who come after us, that is, for our future generations. The last one is the economic stability. Economic stability mostly deals with the resource scarcity, disasters, and climate related risk which threatens the long term growth, making the sustainable practices essential for resilience. A development model that prioritizes only the economic growth while ignoring the social and environmental cost is not truly sustainable. A model which should have all the three components that are the main pillars of sustainability, which is the economic, social, and environmental, that will be a truly sustainable. The concept of sustainability. The concepts of sustainability treats the economy, society, and environment as an interconnected system and not an isolated domain. So, the three pillars of sustainability, or which is called as the triple bottom line, will be covered in the next session. So, the main conceptual principle of sustainability is holistic thinking, which means considering the long term and systematic impacts rather than short term isolated outcomes. Next one is the intergenerational equity. It is the fairness between the present and the future generations. Intragenerational equity is the fairness between the different groups within the current generations, either between the communities or between the rich and poor nations. Precautionary principle. Where there is a threat of serious or irreversible damage, the lack of full scientific certainty should not be used as a reason to postpone the preventive measures. So, last one is the carrying capacity, which recognizes that the ecosystem have limits beyond which they cannot regenerate or reabsorb the impacts.